Hey people, JK the Animator here in the flesh. I mean, my face isn't that mysterious. If you've watched any of my other live streams on Instagram or TikTok or any of the podcast stuff I've done, you might already know what I look like. But I thought, well, I do like answering questions. So if this video gets a decent response, maybe we'll do some more, or maybe I'll find something else to talk about. Who knows? But I have my hat here, and my hat has all the questions from all the people who felt obliged to send me some questions. So I thought, well, let me just pick them out the hat one by one, and we'll see how we get on. Yeah. So Stephanie Vijay says, how many members are in your core team? Currently, in my core team, I would say, well, there's me, and there's my apprentice protege called Jaden, who he doesn't work on any of the Dragonflow Z stuff, but he does help me with the TikTok, Instagram style stuff. So shout out to him. Next question. Ariande Olga says, how are the dragon crystals made? You asking some questions. I don't know if you really want the spoilers to that. In the same way that we revealed what the real deal is with the bus pass, I intend to reveal the origins of the dragon crystals at a certain point in the story. For now, all I'll say is they are forged by the Grandmaster, but he's not the only one who knows the secret to how to make them. So for now, I'm gonna have to leave that there. Next question. Combat Analysis says, congrats. How are you able to make these videos? With a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I feel like I use Adobe After Effects. I mean, I've answered that question a million times in a million different comments or whatever. But yeah, Adobe After Effects is the main thing that I use to edit my animations. And long story short, I've built some software inside of Adobe After Effects that helps me do it a little bit quicker nowadays. So what used to take me 3 or 4 days might only take me 1 day. Yeah. Navy boy asks, my fiance is pregnant and I've been sleeping with her sister. She's also pregnant. Should I ditch them both? Well, I would say, I don't know if you want to, I still say stick around for the babies, for the kids. You know, they probably could do with your fatherhood to some degree, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work out too well with either of them after this. I think cutting ties might be the way forwards there, brother. So yeah. What else we got? That was random. Deepak Victor, I thought you were from the States, but your accent ... Where are you from? ? So, if my accent didn't already give it away, I am from the UK. London in particular, raised in East London, currently live in Croydon, which acts like it's South London, but it's not really South London, but it's still alright. Keelan Albert, if you could be any animal, what would you be? Some random ones. Not random animals, some random questions from you guys. I would say maybe, if we could include Pokemon, I would be a Charizard. If Pokemon aren't included in official animals, I would say maybe a wolf. I like the way wolves roll. I feel that maybe wolf is my spirit animal, if anything. So yeah. Next question. Young Sutan says, are we ever going back to Flowhala? Yes, we will be visiting Flowhala. There's a specific Flowhala scene which I wanted to put it in episode 5, but it didn't really fit with that one. I wanted to put it in episode 6, but it didn't really fit with that one. So I'm hoping I can squeeze it into episode 7 somewhere. But yes, we will be going back to Flowhala, definitely, because there's still a lot of untapped potential up there. What else? Else? It's Mids. Well done. I love the work. How much for an animation? Well, for all that kind of stuff, I would say just DM me on Instagram. I definitely respond to everyone that's following me. If you're not following me, maybe. But that's where the easiest place to reach out to me and any sort of questions in regards to having work done and all that kind of stuff. We can figure it out in there. All right. Charlton D. Jackson says, congrats. What was your favorite video to make? If we're talking about Dragonflow Z, I think my favorite video, maybe episode 3. I think that was, so the first one was just a trial, just to see if this thing could be done. The second one was just more seeing if the thing could be repeated. And I would say the third one is where I was like, all right, well, I know I can make a series out of this. Let's start doing that. So it was the first true episode where we're, putting the things in place for a full series and really going a bit crazy with what the guys are doing and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that one was the one which I enjoy making them all. This last one was a bit of a struggle, but in general, I enjoy making them all. So, but yeah, I'd say number 3. Yuri George says, how many more episodes before the tournament? So, the truth is, that's not a fixed number. So my goal is, whenever the series is in a place where the episode that's released can comfortably reach 1 million views within the month, all right, when it's that popular, then we can start thinking about a countdown to the actual tournament. But right now, my main goal is to just keep putting out episodes to build up the prestige of the series until it's popular enough to at least get 1 million views per episode. So my advice, guys, if you really want to see this tournament, you need to get as many people as you can onto this series so that we can get it popular enough so that it actually makes monetary sense to make this. Because the tournament, I want it to be like a whole movie, not just a typical 10-minute episode. Like at least 30 minutes, maybe more, depending on where we're at. But that's the goal. So yeah, the more people you can get involved, the better. Jesse Towson says, I've walked in on my boyfriend jacking off twice. What should I do? I don't know if I'm the person to be, asking for that, but my advice would just be to knock. Proteus Ackerman. Do you have a hot take on anything? Y'all trying to get me cancelled. I feel like my views on transgenderism, although I don't have any hatred or ill will towards anyone, including transgender people, I would say my thoughts on the validity as a stance, as a life stance, I think is questionable. And I think just leave it there. Happy to discuss that in depth with anyone who would like to understand those views a bit further via my DMs. But yeah, I think in today's world especially, that might be considered a hot take. Vladimir Makairin. Is the engineer working for the Grandmaster? I can categorically say no. Piero Maravin. What made you start animating? So I've always liked the idea of telling stories in some form or another. And when the pandemic hit and the job I had at the time was sort of up in the air, it was basically a creative outlet. And the fact that I was just working on it every day, it started, just becoming a habit. And then eventually, one video kind of blew up. For a whole year, nothing was really happening. And then the Drake Lil Baby video went a bit crazy, and then that sort of carried my pages with it. And now I get to do this for a living. So thanks guys for liking and sharing that video in particular. David Ortega says, well damn, hey, for real, congratulations though homie, and keep up the good work. And what's the quote of the day? Quote of the day. Okay, I'll say quote of the day. Treat others, one of my favorite quotes of the day. And I don't know, is this a Jesus quote? It might be a Jesus quote or a Buddha quote, or I feel like most wise people come to this understanding at some point or another. But treat others as you expect to be treated, or as you would like to be treated. I think if everyone just done that, the world would be a much more harmonious place. Ishmael Alish, what is your favorite food? There's nothing that's overtly that I could eat endless amounts of, but I would say my wife's macaroni cheese is definitely up there. Rajesh Khan, What is the worst anime you've ever seen? Ooh, bit of a hot take there, isn't it? I would say the most, you watch a couple episodes of something and then be like, well, this is rubbish, and just move on. But I would say probably the thing I invested a worthwhile amount of time into before realizing how complete and utter garbage it was is Fairy Tail. And it was only because, I'd sort of just caught up with One Piece at the time, and having to wait a week for an episode was just getting quite tough. So I was looking, at the time I wasn't as aware of how unique and epic and special One Piece was. So I was like, well, then what else is like One Piece where, it's a similar thing, world building, this and that. And I found Fairy Tail, and the first 2 arcs, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. It's not quite One Piece, but it's pretty good. And then, yeah, man, I mean, all I'll say is it's up there with the worst written stories you'll ever read, period. And no part of me whatsoever can respect anyone that really likes Fairy Tail beyond the first 2 arcs. Oluwasi Ebozi, I got a song to drop in the studio. How do we make this happen? So again, all that kind of stuff, reach out to me on Instagram via the DMs and I will be sure to respond to you, as long as you're nice and polite. Some people just come over and they're just a bit rude, and I'm just like, well, don't know about you, sir, but anyone that's quite nice or coming with the right kind of energy, you're very likely to get a response. Okay, very likely. The next question. Audley Ashok, what is your favorite moment from Dragonflow Z so far? My favorite moment is, I have a lot of favorite moments if I'm being honest. Where is he? When these 2 were having their big final Roger Whitebeard clash off, that was pretty epic. These 2, I love where is it? There it is. I loved in their video when Kanye is trapped inside the thing and he uses the righteousness to break out and does his gospel attacks. But I'll probably say overall, the moment that got me the most gassed is probably when I first thought of the idea of having the Grandmaster do his Grandmaster Flash 2-deck style reverse thing on Eminem. Daniel Germano, are there any content creators you enjoy collaborating with? Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoy collaborating with most folks that I end up collaborating with. I'd say if I'm gonna name drop anybody, I'd have to probably throw my big homie Ace Vane up in there. I think anything me and him do is fire. And also Big Michael. I think, yeah, man, especially as a fellow UK brother, he's definitely one of the dudes I would bet on being next up. His consistency and just his relentlessness is wild. Renault 52, what inspired your animation style? Anime in general, as you might have been able to tell, just the tone of the action, let's say, very shonen-esque. And then obviously you may have noticed influences from said South Park, which was another big thing for me growing up. So yeah, shonen in general and South Park in particular, I would say, are the 2 biggest influences for my animation style. Owen Dakun says, so glad you made it to 500k. You deserve it. Would we see more of Little Baby and J. Cole? Maybe that says could we see more of Little Baby and J. Cole? Well, we're gonna see them more individually. You're seeing them now. Whoa, this reverse camera is really messing with my brain there. But I do intend to include them in future episodes. J. Cole, well, he's the leader of Dreamville, which is another, along with Flo Hala, that's another region that we've got to visit at some point. So yeah, they'll definitely be in future episodes. Alright, Costanazo Peta, what are your top 5 anime? In no particular, well, number 1 is One Piece. I'm just gonna, even though it's more the manga than the anime, I'm just gonna say One Piece is the greatest, period. And if you disagree, I can only imagine it's because you're not deep into One Piece. Anyone who's deep into One Piece understands that there's nothing like One Piece. But outside of that, I would say in no particular order. You've got Attack on Titan up there, Hunter x Hunter up there. I really like Code Geass, that's up there. And there's a few other things that could probably get in that last slot, but maybe because of recency bias, because I just currently re-watching it with my wife. Death Note, a classic. So yeah, those 5. Gunnar, that's 3 R's. Who is going to be in the next episode? Well, without giving too much away, what I will say is that the next episode is set to take place in the Rock Nation. Now, we all know who the leader on the Rock Nation is. So, yeah, you guys can look forward to that. A lot of people been calling for that episode for a while now. Jack Chase, what is your favorite color? I don't know if black counts as a color, but I would say the color that I have most in my wardrobe is black. So black on black on black on black. So yeah, guys, those were some questions. I hope that was all right. You know, if you have any more questions, you can just put them in the comments, and if there's enough of them, I might make another video like this. If you haven't checked out the merch, because I've dropped some new merch, right? So if you want to start kitting yourself out with some nice, cool Dragonflow Z merch out here, then again, links in the description below. So I'm assuming that you guys came from the Dragonflow Z video, because that's where I'm sending people. But then I don't know if some of you are watching this in the future and you just stumbled upon this video first. So I'm just going to say, if you haven't seen the most recent episode of Dragonflow Z, whatever that might be, I'm going to put the link there to it. Okay, over here. Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you go and see that, because this right here, crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, aside from that, I hope everyone continues to like and support the content. Thanks again for helping get the channel to 500,000. Oh my god, 500,000, crazy. But the road to 1 million continues. Okay, we keep striving. So yeah, aside from that, I hope you all have a blessed day.